want to talk about the importance of psychology, but at the same time, wherever you're at, psychology is powerful. But what really determines the character of a person? What really determines how people behave, how you behave, how we behave, how I behave? So we've been told that our thoughts create reality. What you think about yourself, the image about yourself within you will determine how you behave, right? And it is true, right? But then along the way, you get older, you mature more, you see more stuff, and you get to know that it's really laws, you know, federal laws or state laws that determine, are predestined to allow people behave in a certain way. And I can't remember his name, was a comedian. He says something that if murder was legal, there was nobody left. You know, it would be nobody left. You know, probably not even you. And it's so crazy because it was, you know, to have some fun, you know, to laugh about it. But it is real. You know, how many times people get angry, people get mad at whatever reasons, right? It's not only for that joke that if murder was legal, if there was no law that would protect somebody's life, everybody will be murdering each other, right? And as funny as it sounds, it's so rooted in human nature. And not only that, but everywhere you go, anything you do, it's regulated. There's a policy, there's laws. Regardless if you know them or not, you might say, well, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, I don't care about that. And that's true. That might not be your career, right? But that doesn't exempt you for falling into the trap and you become a victim of some circumstances that at the end of the day, there's going to be some paperwork involved. And so what am I trying to say? What am I trying to convey here? To exude is that we can be aware that this world cannot be run without laws, right? Laws are changing every day, you know, from something minimum to something max. I don't care, but they're changing. You know, they're evolving. And the question is, well, these are men, right? Lawmakers, these are men like us who create these laws. No, that's true. So that's why when I hear people promoting get rich fast, and all that matters is to get rich, get bitches left and right, and it does, you know, we're all men. Absolutely right. Since the beginning of time, attraction has an end. That's more truthful than anything. Attraction and death. But then what do you do in certain circumstances when we become civilized? When we don't know what to say at a certain moment, at a certain specific place, you know? How many times when you deal with law enforcement, if you have, or you've seen it in movies, or you can relate to somebody who has, anything you say can be used against you. That right there should be a phrase that you should never forget until the ends of times and until you live, until you die, all your life. No? Anything you say can be used against you, right? So at that specific moment, we know that, whoa, I have power. So literally what I say has power. No, that's vague. What it really means in legal terms is that anything that's coming from your mouth at certain time means something. And it's proving something or this approving something, right? So people say, well, opinions don't matter until they do. So even though we have the right of freedom of speech, that doesn't mean you're just gonna go out there and speak whatever you want, right? And I think that for us to have a better place, a better world, a better country, instead of telling our kids, our friends, that we need to make money to be somebody, and it's not wrong, but what about we need to create laws that are better for humans, that are better for us, so that will allow us to make money better, in a better way. Not necessarily fast, right? Or slow. But what about if people who are rich or people who are coming up, instead of saying you guys should be rich, you guys are supposed to be sleeping with thousands of women on a daily basis, right? Who are gonna be making laws? Who's responsible for all that? Can you imagine if rich people or people who are in power, people who are celebrities, famous, start promoting that we should have people making better laws? So if you and I have children, instead of telling them they need to make money fast, they need to fucking have money all the time in their wallet. You know? There's nothing wrong with it, but what about laws? But what about our kids in the future? They're gonna be making laws. They're gonna be part of that. Because we as an adult influence them. Right? Because at the end of the day, money is really nothing if there's no law protecting it. If there's not somebody who created that currency, who allows it to have power in earth, you know? So laws, it's the most powerful, tangible thing that you will ever encounter, right? Laws are invisible. You cannot see them, but you have them around you, right? And just by being aware of them already puts you up the ladder, right? Then eventually you get to not know them, but who created them. Remember, the word who goes back to the source. Don't ask why did they create this law. You know, that's a victim mentality. Why did they create this law? You know, or what law is going to be next? No. Who are creating these laws? Who, right? You always want to go to the source. You know, this is the ultimate truth and the ultimate authority that we all need. Okay? It's factual. The source. Money's there. Somebody had to print it. Even if it's gold, somebody had to mine it. Somebody had to take it out of that mine. Diamonds, whatever. You know, there's always people. Okay? So if there's laws, that means there's men involved. And men in power know this, but they don't talk about it because they want to keep you, me and you, they want to keep you in that rat race, chasing money. And at the end of the day, you're going to say, me, Alex, how am I going to pay my bills? Absolutely. I'm not saying that making money is wrong. If you can make money, millions in a day, good for you. But if you tell me that's more important than creating a law, I will disagree. Because at the end of the day, if you can make $1 million within a week, within a day, there's laws involved. You're not going to tell me, because I'm an ex-convict who came from seeing people who are doing time for tax evasion. Problems with IRS, problems with money, right? So at the end of the day, laws are above money, okay? Because laws determine what you can do with your money. And it shouldn't be a bad thing, it shouldn't be a negative thing, it should be a good thing to be aware of the laws. Like I said before, you don't have to know them all. Not even the most powerful attorney knows them all. They don't, you know? They don't. But just to be aware that everything around you is regulated, okay? So, to wrap this up, psychology is big, but laws are bigger, okay? You can tell yourself that I'm this and that, but then with reality, you're going to be confronted by laws, all right? And to embrace psychology and legal law, the legal world, that's the best thing you can do. And everything else will fall into place. Because the best advice that anybody can receive is not to stay ignorant, right? Not to keep ignoring the things that we shouldn't be ignoring, right? And we should be encouraging our relatives or family that they should be aware of laws all the time, okay? And at the same time, you can make money now more confident, because now you are aware that the laws either are going to protect you or they're going to come after you, right? And either both, you'll be prepared, okay? And one of the best things is to know the laws are not to make you panic, even though on paper they look very scary and intimidating. But once you know how to go about it, they shouldn't, right? You shouldn't panic, you know, and breathe and know that this is a world where men create laws, and that's the bottom line. Laws are powerful because they come from men.